Welcome to the Aaron L Show, man. We back at it with another one, man. This video gonna be about Arch Manning, the starting quarterback for the Texas Longhorns, the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning, two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in the NFL, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, two great quarterbacks. So this kid has a great bloodline. He comes from a great background, and he had his first game as a starter for the Texas Longhorns, the University of Texas, and he played Ohio State. Now, Texas is ranked number one overall in the country. I kind of feel like they was ranked number one because of their defense, and I kind of felt like they was ranked number one because of Arch Manning's potential. Now, what I felt like coming into this game was that Ohio State has won the national championship last year. Even though they had 14 kids go to the NFL draft, they lost a lot of kids, but they had a great recruiting class. But when you look at Texas on the other side, they lost about 12 players to the NFL draft, and they had a great recruiting class. Plus, they had Arch Manning sitting in the wings. But I felt like, Arch Manning, I felt like, he got a great pedigree. I felt like coming out of high school, he was a dual threat quarterback, great arm, can roll out the pocket and do what he got to do. But at the same time, I don't feel like the stage was too big for him. I just felt like he was kind of inexperienced at that level. Now, I kind of felt to myself going into that game that Arch Manning probably was not going to beat Ohio State. Just given the magnitude of the game, the level of competition, and just the experience he has. He don't really have experience playing against teams of that caliber yet. He's been through in a fire last year playing a couple of teams when they were winning, teams that they were kind of like overmatched against or whatever. But when it came down to tough teams on the Ohio State level, they put their starting quarterback, who is in the NFL right now, kept him in the game, and kind of just put Archie in to kind of like do some run pass option plays and stuff like that. So Arch Manning threw for a touchdown. He threw for an interception. I felt like at certain points of the game he was getting rattled. Just I'm saying he was getting rattled because I felt like it was just certain stuff that he wanted to do that he wasn't doing. I felt like he was getting rushed on some of his passes and was overthrowing them. Just because he was being rushed, he couldn't kind of settle in and get comfortable. The defense was coming kind of fast. His offensive line blocked for him the best that they could. But I mean, at the same time, you gotta adjust to the speed of the game. I think this he's gonna be a top 5 pick. Because I feel like against lesser competition, Arch Manning gonna light him up. I mean, you can see he threw that deep pass. It was a nice touch on it. He threw it for a touchdown. He had a misread where he threw a pick, but I kind of felt like the offensive line collapsed on him a little bit, and he kind of like saw where he wanted to go with the ball, but he threw it a little earlier than he wanted to because of the pressure that was coming towards him. So, I feel like going forward, Arch Manning's going to be nice. I feel like he's going to settle in and put up some good numbers. I feel like he shouldn't come out. I think he's just a junior. I don't think he should come out to draft next year. I think he should wait till his senior year, depending on how big of a year he had this year. But I mean, you could look at that game and see that even if he go through a full season, he's probably not going to be fully ready for the NFL. He's fully not going to be ready. But I'm pretty sure he's going to call his uncles, and his uncles are going to call him. They're going to give him some advice. When you got an uncle that's Peyton Manning and you got another uncle that's Eli Manning, they saw all the looks. They saw the missed throws you were making. They know how you can make those throws. So I'm pretty sure that they all sat down on a video call and kind of went over the plays, and they're probably going over the plays now, showing him, okay, look at this look. You saw that read. You see this. When you see that, you got to do this. So, I mean, he definitely has some teaching that the average quarterback is not even going to be to obtain. So I feel like Arch Manning's going to be all right. That Texas defense, I feel like Texas was overrated at number one, number one team in the country. But when you look at that Texas defense was vicious. They was vicious, man. They kept Ohio State to just 14 points. And that 14 points they struggled to get that. You know what I mean? And then Arch Manning, with the struggles he had during the game, he was still able to put up 7 points, and they only lost by 7. So, I mean, when you really think about it, it's like, that Texas defense, You know, that could be one of the top defenses, if not the top defense in the country. You know, they tough. You know, Ohio State couldn't really throw the ball. They couldn't really run the ball consistent. Arch Manning, he was having 3-and-outs back to back to back to back to back. And the Texas defense was holding and holding and holding and holding. They bent 2 times and gave up 2 touchdowns. But then Arch Manning came back and hit a big touchdown. And he put Texas in a position where they could have came back and tied the game up. It's just that Ohio State defense, they got a bend but didn't break defense. You know, so this video is about Arch Manning. You know, we saw the game. The kid looks good. Did he look good as advertised? You saw glimpses of it. You know what I mean? But like I say, the level of competition, he was playing against a number 3 team in the country for his first start. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, his first start of his career, really, because this is where he's going to start every game this year. So I just feel like, you know, shout out to Arch Manning, shout out to the Manning family. I feel like Arch is, he going to be good as advertised, man. You saw a few times he rolled out that pocket, so he's definitely a dual threat. When he threw that touchdown pass, you saw the arm strength. You know, they say he a kid that don't really show a lot of emotion and stuff like that. So you can't really look at him in his face and get a read on, you know, whether he's just rattled all the way to where you need to pull him, you know. But I mean, I didn't really see that. I just kind of saw that, you know, he has to, you know, I think they got the little saying that as you get more experience, the game slows down. So I just feel like the game was moving real fast for him, and he, you know, he needs to slow the game down, take his time. His reads was there. You know, the O-line is going to hold. You have to believe in that, you know, because a lot of young quarterbacks, they always think that in a blind spot, they about to get hit. So you kind of on edge as you in the pocket. But, you know, as you look at the film, you know, the quarterback no plays where he rushed it, and then he can look at the film and say, okay, it wasn't really even nobody coming towards me. I didn't have to throw that right then. I could have waited that other split second or 2 and got off the ball, you know. But this the Aaron L. Show, and we'll be back at you guys with another one. Please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everybody who watched the video full through. It helps support the channel, and I'll see you guys on another one.